All right, so let's talk about StarRupture. This game came out very early in January, and I have to say I have mixed feelings about it, but overall I really recommend the game. But basically, let's talk about what is this game, what's good, what's bad, what should you expect, and who do I recommend this game for. So StarRupture is launched in early access, and they plan to update it with free patches throughout the next couple of years. Hopefully one gigantic year, that will be good enough. But if you guys are familiar with the developers of Green Hell, you know that they have a pretty good track record. Green Hell came out a long time ago, but they listened to the community. They did a lot of updates. It took them a long time to make them a version 1.0. And even after that version 1.0, they kept coming out with more and more updates. So I have it in very good faith that StarRupture is going to come out really well. It's just a matter of when, right? So what kind of game is this? Basically, this is a survival crafting factory automation game. It is very similar to games like Factorio, Satisfactory, and The Planet Crafter. So if you have played those sort of games in the past, then you are going to be pretty familiar with how the game kind of goes, the overall, goals and the, just the game plan, right? The game loop, so to speak. So basically, the game starts out with you playing as one of the different personalities that you can choose. They do have voice lines, and you get sent to this planet. And basically, you're told that, hey, you are put on this planet, so you can go ahead and extract all these resources, make some bases in order for us to kind of colonize this planet. And that is the very base lore of the game. There's a lot more things I don't want to spoil lore wise of who's on this particular planet, what kind of things are they really using you here for, and are you going to be seeing some other sort of sci-fi stuff besides just running around on the on the basic here. You're going to see a lot of some different skeletons around the world, and also logs that people say, hey, this is what we've learned from our time on here. This is day 28, blah, 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 28, 32, whatever. And then you get to see their bodies, so you get to see how they died. But that's the overall premise. So you can either go in solo, which I did completely solo, or you can jump in with, I believe, up to 4 players on a map, which is kind of cool. But basically, you go in and you have to survive via eating. You have food and water. You have to pretty much, there's a pretty good tutorial where it says, hey, you want to extract this particular mineral, so you can combine them in order to make some sort of resource materials. Then you can build a base. You can build a door to your base. Here is a crafting bench now. Now you can go ahead and build an extractor, so you can put it on those minerals that you found, and then you can build rails so you can automate them back towards your base. Also, they can go into a smelter, they can go into a refinery, and then move them around to different stuff. Also, you can put them in a supply depot, so you can send those resources back over to them, to the different companies. And that's pretty much the game. Now, what this game does really well, as opposed to the other games that I did talk about, Satisfactory is a freaking amazing example of an extremely well-made sort of factory-like, a first-person factory-like sort of game, where the goal simply is to get resources, build up your equipment, make better factories, be more efficient. So this one does that, however, at a very base level. The game is super early access. Let's say at the moment Satisfactory is at 100%. Let's say this one, I would say maybe it's around 25% of what the sort of factory aspect can be. I really want it to get a lot more better, and it will over time. If you go to the Steam page, they actually have a sort of roadmap telling you oh, we plan to put these features, blah, 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 blah. So believe me when I say that, yeah, it's only 25% of what it could be. I cannot wait for it to get to that part. The other aspect of the game is combat. Now, I'm going to talk about Satisfactory again. If that combat is at pretty much 100% because it's a 1.0 game. I'm gonna say that again. Then this game would be a 150%. Yeah, the combat's actually really good. It feels like a real FPS. You know, you have your heater gun, which is sort of like your extraction gun for minerals. And then as you unlock more recipes, you get stuff like guns and then rifles and grenades and healing stims. And it's actually a really decent combat. Satisfactory. I feel like the combat in that game was kind of tacked on. You know, tacked on midway in development. It wasn't built with combat in particular in mind. However, this game, I think from the base, from the foundation, it started with, hey, we want to build all of these sort of mechanics up at the same time. And combat is one of them. It feels smooth, it's fun. The enemies that you fight here are vermin. There's different sorts of them that do lots of different things, and they kind of attack your base, you know, when you get to a certain point in the game, which is kind of cool. So there is the factory aspect, which needs a lot of work, but good, decent bones. The combat, which is really high, and the exploration. Once again, satisfactory, 100%. I would say the exploration here is around maybe 60%. It's fun running around. However, it's not great movement running around. Basically, at the moment, you have walking, you have running, and in the in the upcoming roadmap, they have like vehicles they want to add, maybe some sort of teleports and stuff. But so the exploration movement, no good. But I can really see where they're going in terms of like, they want you to have a certain cycle in this game where you want to put your base somewhere and plant it down near very essential resources where you could permanently keep gaining resources, titanium, wolfram, titanium, calcium, and you feed all of those into your base, and then you can go ahead and start upgrading there. Once you because basically what you want to do is you want to start questing towards different sorts of companies. You accept quests that say, hey, we want a certain amount of titanium. Boom, level 1. Once you do that, you can to unlock a new sort of recipe. Here you get stim packs, and it's for a certain company you get combat stuff. For another one, you get recipes for building. Another one, you get movement things. So it's up to you to decide which of the different sorts of companies you want to tackle next. It's pretty much recommended that you do everything at a base level. Like, okay, all of the six companies level 1, all the 6 companies level 2 and 3 and 4. It's recommended that way because all of these sort of things that you can craft, it kind of lines up with all the different levels. So if you make a level 2 sort of titanium item, all of the level 2 quests kind of go with that. So basically, you want to set up your machines, your factory. Then while you're waiting, you can do stuff in your base, you can mess around, but the game really wants you to go out and explore, because there are certain recipes that you can only get while you explore, and that's the only way for you to upgrade in the different quests. So I really like how, yeah, you can do factory, blah, 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 but it also has a loop of like, okay, I've done all I can in a factory. I'm letting it go in order to the machines to slowly build up my storage so I can send the supply depot ready to go. I'm going to go out and explore. So there's lots of different things to find. There's like enemies, you know, there's a vermin enemies, and there's also points of interest where you can open up a chest and you can find a specific recipe that says, oh my god, I can now make rotors, where you can combine all of the stuff that you've learned from previous tiers, and then that is used for level 3 or 4 on a quest, and then you keep going on. So that is the game loop. It's very, very nice and simple, where it's, you know, build, explore, build, automate, explore, build, automate, explore. Every once in a while, you're going to have some really cool moments in the game where you can unlock some stuff where, oh, I can open up and go to some caves. There's a spaceship, blah, blah, blah. There's some monuments, some radiations. And then the game starts to really ramp up once you hit a point in the game where you can start being sort of attacked by waves of enemies. Now, luckily, it doesn't happen for a very long time in the game, but once you get to the point where you can unlock the waves and attacking you, the game lets you know, like, hey, once you pass this point, once you turn this quest in, you're going to be started being attacked. Are you okay with that? So there's a gradual level of you getting up to there where you should definitely make sure you have guns, you have bases, you have turrets. Now, the building aspect of this game is very also rudimentary. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Satisfactory. If that's 100%, this is like a 20%. The cosmetic fortifying building is not there at all. No walls or anything, as at least the early access, version that they came out right away, you can only make like some sort of turrets. You don't have walls or anything like that. But yeah, so once again, this is one of those games where I can see this being really, really good down the line, which is why I said I'm mixed on it. I'm done playing it, but once it finishes, you bet I'm gonna be, booting this up and checking it out again. But that is pretty much the game. If you have not played any sort of the games before, you've never played Factorio, you've never played Green Hell, Planet Crafter, Factorio, Satisfactory, then this game is going to feel new and it's going to feel fresh and you're going to like it. If you've played a ton of those already, then you're going to see all of those mechanics in here, but not quite done yet. So it's good for early access. It's good if you want to mess around right now. I would say if you can get with some friends, I would definitely play this game all the way through and then drop it and then come back again once it's fully done with version 1.0, because that is going to be a completely different game from what you see today. So overall, it's fun. I recommend it. This is, once again, the company has a great track record for actually finishing a game that takes a certain period of time, the Green Hell. So check out StarRupture. There's a lot more things to do in here, as I mentioned, but it's decent, right? I just can't wait for more to come out. And that's all I have to say about it. So if you guys are interested, I uploaded all my footage on my Let's Play channel, Mobby vs. Games 2, link down below. Go check it out and come by Twitch and YouTube where we stream all these games and more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.